Welcome back to the Arizona Daily Mix. Carpal tunnel syndrome is common and can actually cause quite a bit of a problem for people. Joining me today to tell us more about this disease is Dr. Mile. Good morning, doctor. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you very much.
And I said right there, syndrome and disease. Carpal tunnel is a disease that people think it's just maybe, a little arthritis or maybe a little swollen in the fingers, but there's more to this, isn't it?
Well, yes, and it even probably is confusing for even primary care doctors because they're not hand specialists. I think it's a sort of a catch-all wastebasket diagnosis. Oh, you have hand pain, you have carpal tunnel syndrome. But actually, pain is not the most common symptom. It's actually numbness.
Wow.
So numbness of, we call 3.5 fingers, the thumb, index, middle. In our business, we with the same names that you guys call it in the regular world.
Yeah.
Thumb, index, middle, and what we call the thumb side of the ring finger. And so it doesn't really go towards the small finger side, but numbness is the most common symptom as opposed to pain.
Wow. So okay, someone's sitting at home right now, and maybe they've been on the computer, maybe they've been playing sports or something, and they feel that numbness in there. Sometimes what do they just say? Oh well, it's just a little, tingling. Little.
Yeah, what people will generally tell you the same type of story. It's either when I wake up in the morning, because people usually sleep like this. You watch yourself. People have this usual posturing when they sleep.
Right.
And then typing sometimes, even though typing in long-term studies hasn't been shown to be a major contributing factor, it's probably just because everyone types, and how do you really separate people that type and don't type? It's almost impossible. But when they wake up in the morning and they feel like this little, pins and needles type sensation, and they shake it out, or they just, by the time they cut the coffee, it's better.
Yeah.
And it's a problem if it ventures into your day,
Wow. Okay, so that's very interesting because I usually, and maybe I have it because you said you might have it, because I wake up and I think because I slept on it, my hand is still asleep or my fingers are still asleep, and that's why I got that little tingling. But you need to really watch that, right?
Well, anytime you have any change in your sensation, and this is a change in your sensation. Definition of disease is an abnormal state of the body. I mean, it is actually, you're right. You could be sleeping on it. You could be sleeping on your head, so you sort of sleep on what we call the median nerve, and then later on, it starts to get more blood. The entire body is, fed by blood supplies. So either something is compressing it, like in the carpal tunnel, there is a roof of it. There's actually a roof, or your physical, head is sleeping on it, and you wake up with some numbness, and that's what causes it. So it is some sort of damage to the nerve, in which is getting less blood supply.
Okay, is it curable?
For the most part, yes. And luckily, in today's society, as opposed to, luckily not 100 years ago or Civil War times, people's carpal tunnels would get so bad, your hands would look like skeletons.
Right.
And I have seen people like that. They come in rarely. A lot of them will be from, immigrants that came later from a foreign country that didn't recognize it. But luckily in America, we usually catch it pretty early now, because anytime somebody has numbness or some problems, they come see a surgeon, or they went to their primary care, who the vast majority of them know how to treat it these days because it's so well known. It's actually the most common surgery done in the United States, either 1 or 2 depending on the year. So.
Is there anything right now someone can do if they are, having those kind of sensations? Is there any exercises or anything that you recommend, or?
Long-term exercise stretching hasn't really changed, and there's only 2 real treatments for carpal tunnel that have withstood the test of time. One of them is sleeping with a wrist brace. So you get a wrist brace, and just a generic wrist brace you get from a Walmart or a Target or something. Do not have it cover the thumb. Just have it all 5 fingers free, and you just wear it to sleep at night. You put it by your bedside, you put it on when you go to sleep, you take it off when you wake up. And what that does is prevents you from sleeping into what we call that posture of the carpal tunnel getting compressed. And try it for like 3 or 4 days, and if you don't have significant relief, I would go see what we call a fellowship-trained hand surgeon.
Yeah.
So.
And then they'll see you right there.
I will.
Wow, this is so neat. I hope we get to have you back and talk more, because again, as we get ready to get back to school at kids and stuff, because we see it in kids too, don't we?
I probably see rarely in children, but definitely by the time they're 15 and 16 and getting adolescence, and it probably has become more and more of a problem, as more and more education transitions to computers and homes and stuff like that. And like I said, we haven't been able to show that excessive keyboarding is a contributing factor, But just using we have a saying in hand surgery: the carpal tunnel was designed for the hand surgeon to release. It's just very common. It's just,
All right, so that means parents out there, when that kid comes and tell you I can't do my homework because I have carpal tunnel syndrome, they're not telling the truth because they're still young, and so let's not get them right.
they can't have it, but it's not as common.
Right, there you go. Okay, so doctor, thank you very much. I know we have information on aztv.com on how to get a hold of you in your practice,
Of course,
and of course, and tips on to make sure that you are making your hands move correctly.
Great.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you very much.